Clearance Aisle back with another Fortnite Battle Royale video, and today I'm going to show you how to win. Welcome back everybody. In today's video I'm going to walk you through a full game. I think I want to mix these videos up where I show you some entire games from start to finish, maybe with a little fast forwarding. Then I want to also have that series where I just break down just the final five. I've gotten feedback where some people want to see the beginning and some people want to see just the end. So in this game, I'm dropping over by Risky Reels. As you can see in the corner there, a ton of people were already a little bit lower than me, dropping right inside of Risky, and I saw these two chests on the ice cream truck. And since nobody was over here, I wanted to grab those and get looted up and then go bust into Risky. There's a lot of locations in this game where you could drop maybe a little late if there were other players underneath you, but Risky is really small, it's really densely packed, and I really didn't want to risk that chance. I saw someone land at the White House. I saw that the roof was busted out, and I'm heading over towards him, chopping down trees as I go. I've already got over 100 material thanks to the two chests and some farming. I hear him here in this green building now. I think he's underneath me. I saw that the basement door was busted out, and when I saw the scar, I knew he wasn't in here, so I ran for the scar. He opened the door. He didn't have a weapon equipped or anything, and I was able to get my first kill. We're starting off this game pretty lucky though. I've already got a scar. I'm fully shielded. I've got this extra med kit here. But I did want to point out, when you saw me farming up a little bit before engaging with this guy, it's always a good idea to start farming early. There are plenty of materials to go around really anywhere. If you're inside a house, just bust out the furniture. If you're outside of a house, look for obviously the rocks and the trees. Fence posts, like these fences you see around the house, they're another really great source of materials. I mean, you can see that I'm getting 8, 10, 9. So I think it's anywhere between 8 and 11 wood for kind of like one section of fence. And because I'm going to go into Risky with a lot of players, I do want to try and loot up just a little bit before I get inside. Stood still for a little bit there because I saw that somebody had went down, or I thought I saw maybe some loot pop up. But I wanted to see if I could maybe wrap up that kill with like one or two first shot accuracy shots from the scar. I saw this roof, this metal roof finish being built, and I could hear somebody, so I run over here, thinking about maybe editing this roof piece, but I couldn't quite make them out with the way the sun was. But that was a pretty easy kill there. But I think it really helped that I was just on top of him. I think it might have been a little intimidating. Now I heard this guy with the jump rocks and was able to get him in that assault rifle range at first. Didn't really want to try my luck with the shotgun at that range and not do a whole lot of damage. So I was able to put some bullets on him with the scar and then wrap it up with the tac shotgun. You'll notice that I didn't pull out the heavy there because I had 3 scar shots on him, all in the white. I knew he was pretty weak. That heavy shotgun has a really tight spread. I knew that I just needed basically graze him with one shotgun blast. So I pulled out the tac instead of the heavy there. So I'm starting to think about my inventory a little bit here because I've got some options. I've got this med kit with me and I've got 98 health. So I'm looking at this loot pile right here, and I see that hunting rifle, and I'm thinking that it would be nice to have something a little bit, not longer range, but something in that sniper rifle category. So I go ahead and take this med kit for the 2 HP because I've got 1 mini, but might as well take this med kit, get up to full, and then grab this hunting rifle. Over the next couple of minutes, you're going to see me mix and match my inventory a little bit. But right now, I'm pretty much at my ideal setup. I like to have an AR, a shotgun. In my third slot, I want like a backup close range weapon, whether that's another shotgun or an SMG. In my fourth slot, I've got some sort of healing component, and then the last slot, a sniper rifle. The reason for the backup or the secondary close quarters weapons is most of the time I'm running a pump as my shotgun. And it's a really unforgiving weapon, so I want a second close quarters weapon to follow up a pump. So if I land my first pump shot, sometimes I'll switch right to my secondary close quarters weapons to finish it out. Or maybe I missed that first pump shot, maybe I miss a second, and I just want to switch weapons to better engage with the enemy. And these two weapons can really be like any two shotguns or any shotgun and an SMG. The caveat to this setup here is that I will drop that second close quarters weapon in favor of a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher. So at this point, I just want to get out of there. What's great about a lot of these like edge of the map points of interest is that there's usually these jump rocks or moon rocks or whatever you want to call them that really help you get away from the edge of the map when the storm is coming in. So I grab one of those rocks and start heading towards the new circle. I look at my materials and I realize that I'm a little low. Basically, just sort of a rule of thumb for me is that I want to try and have at least 500 materials after the first battle at that like drop spot. 500 overall materials is good to have, but really having 500 wood is your best bet. You know that wood has the highest starting health, so having wood in any battle, any unexpected battle, or any close quarters battles is the best material to have. So I basically just farm up while I can, while nobody's around, and while I'm running to the new circle. Always remember not to get tunnel vision when you're farming. Try and move like around the tree as you're farming so you're not sitting in one spot, just in case somebody with a sniper rifle is there. And anytime you finish chopping something down, maybe give a little hop or a little look around just to make sure that while you were farming and you weren't able to hear, that nobody has really snuck up on you. So remember, just don't tunnel vision with your farming. Move around the tree, maybe jump even while you're farming, just so nobody can snipe you easily. Right inside of the new circle now, and I peek this guy, headed toward this cabin. And to be honest, I probably engaged from a little too far away here, but I was able to get a couple of AR shots on him. I goof a little bit here. I was trying to run all the way across with that ramp to be on his level, but now I am in the river or in the valley, and he's got the high ground. But luckily he doesn't push, and I'm thinking here that I basically just need to regain the high ground. I know he's got this, really healthy cabin as basically the base of his structure, so I just need to get over on top of him. But I was able to push him really quickly and pull out the heavy shotgun and get the elimination. I've been carrying the heavy shotgun more because of how quick it is to pull out, to switch to that heavy shotgun as opposed to the pump. That pump now has that like really long draw time that really kind of hurts you in situations like that when you're pushing and you need to pull out your shotgun fast. You also saw there that I took my remaining big pot because I saw there was at least one mini on the ground. Probably wasn't the most effective use of a big pot because I did have 64 shields, but I thought it made sense to go ahead and take the big pot so that I didn't leave these minis behind, and they would obviously come in use later. Moving on now, I saw some chests on this little rocky island here, and I know that I'm going to use some materials to put down floors to get over there. So I figured while I was on land, I was going to go ahead and farm up a little bit. It's a good idea to think about it like that. Like anytime that you use materials, try to gain some materials back as quickly as you can. But in this case, I was thinking just a little bit ahead to go ahead and get the materials before I use them. I was pretty lucky here to find these two chests, and I was able to upgrade my green hunting rifle to a blue hunting rifle. And I saw in the distance there a supply drop. You see me kind of cut back here, and I was kind of debating on whether or not to go get that supply drop. It was pretty far, but if you look at my position to the new storm, if you look at the storm clock, I do have plenty of time to go back and get the supply drop. With that said, this was absolutely unnecessary for me to do. The reason I say that is because my loadout is looking pretty good. I've got a gold SCAR, a gold heavy shotgun. I've got a blue sniper rifle, launch pads. I'm fully shielded. It wasn't necessary for me to go back and get this. So I would recommend that if you find yourself in this position where you do have time to backtrack, and I mean really backtrack to get a supply drop, check your loadout. If you don't need it, then I wouldn't go back and get it. That actually applies to a lot of situations. If you kill an enemy in the late game and you've already got a great loadout, plenty of ammo and resources, materials, all of that stuff, don't look at that loot and get greedy. Look at your loadout and remind yourself that what you have now is fine. You don't need that, and you'll probably end up like winning more gunfights because you don't put yourself in those risky situations. You'll notice that I dropped the 2 mini shields for the 1 big shield pot. I've had some debate with some other players about what's the most effective healing component to bring at any given time during the game. And the reason I dropped the minis for the big here was that the big pots, the big shield pots, are going to become more scarce in the late game. We're already down to only 14 players left. So because the big pot is going to be more scarce in this late game, I decided to go with that because more than likely I will find more minis. So if I get into an engagement with a player, it's more likely that when I kill him, he's going to drop a couple of minis than a couple of big pots. Now, with that said, you do what is comfortable for you when it comes to managing your loadout. The SMG, like I said, I could drop for explosives because that's what I'm comfortable with. But maybe you don't like explosives. Maybe you're not comfortable with it. Maybe you want healing as that third item instead of explosives or a close quarters weapon. And for me, this changes even game to game. Maybe some games I'm not as confident with the heavy, so instead of carrying explosives, I might carry another shotgun. So like I said, it varies person to person, player to player, and even game to game for that player. You saw me take a shot on that bunny player. I would advise against something like that. All that served was me giving my position away to the enemies, and especially on this hill where there's so many ways people could have the advantage on me, the height advantage. That was just a poor move. I wasn't going to hit that shot. It shouldn't have happened. I should have just kept moving without even bothering him. I see these minis and I realize that I haven't really used this SMG, and because I just have one big pot, I make that executive decision just to go ahead and drop the SMG and take the minis. So I really should have dropped the SMG earlier for those minis, but like I said, it really just depends on the situation right at that moment. I pushed up to the high ground to get a better look, and I saw a player on the adjacent little mountain here. I tried to put some shots on him, and I realized that I probably wasn't going to be able to do much. He was building pretty well, so I decided to push him, and you can see that we both had the exact same idea. As soon as he started building, he didn't hesitate to try and build over me, and I did the same. I do get caught up a little bit building these trees. He gets that nice first shot on me. Building around these trees is really tough, and you see there that I was spamming my jump too often, so I basically ran out of jumps. But building in these trees can be really difficult. I really haven't figured out any good strategy to deal with it besides just shooting down the tree. Now he gets another good shot on me, brings me down to 47. I tried to push him here. He built over me, and while this is happening, he actually starts getting shot at by another player. I don't know if the player could have been shooting at me, but basically there was some distraction. There was an opportunity for me to sort of turtle here and then heal up because I've got these minis, because I've got this big shield. I can get back up to full shields. Now that I'm back up to full, I'm thinking of my plane here. I can hear them battling. I see that somebody gets a kill in the kill feed. I can hear a player above me still. So I'm not sure what's going on, but anytime you're turtling like that, just edit and then try to push ramps to get back the high ground. But in this case, I decided just to go ahead and use my launch pad to disengage. Most of the reason I did that is because the storm was coming in. I didn't really have a good look at my enemy. I knew that he was right above me or right next to me. So I decided that I would go ahead and disengage, get to the new circle, and kind of reset the fight here. Also, since I knew the enemy was close, I knew that he heard me launch pad. So I wanted to try and destroy my launch pad so that he couldn't also use it to get over by me. I put up a couple of walls behind me to block any shots coming from tilted because I wanted to try and get the player that I was just fighting against. I'm pretty sure that's him. I knew I was fighting a carbide guy. So I've got absolute height advantage here. He starts, sort of turtling, but really just building floors above him to protect him. So, this guy's a good player. But I was able to land some nice AR shots on him, pretty much took away all of his shields. And I don't know if he wasn't expecting this, but pretty aggressive push by me. I catch him healing up, and I was able to get that kill. I think this is a good example of really when to be aggressive. I don't think he was expecting me at all to just come straight down that hill and come all the way down the hill to push him. So you saw me also switch out the heavy for the tac shotgun there. Even though I have been liking the heavy, sometimes depending on how I'm feeling, I actually like to go into the end game with the tac shotgun. It does a lot of really close-up damage. It's got a big spread, so it's a really effective weapon to have when the circle is really, really small. Now I heard these supply drops coming in, and I was looking at the circle and the storm clock, and I've got plenty of time here to get these supply drops. There's only 8 people left. I'm sure most of them are in tilted, but either way, there was plenty of time for me to get these supply drops. And this is a perfect example of why I did that. I was looking for heals basically, and for some better explosives, better than the blue rocket launcher. And in this first supply drop, I found a full med kit. So now instead of being under 150 health, I am all the way full up. Now I remember hearing a second one over here, so I decided to push that one too. Built up a little bit, kind of peeking around. I see it down here, not really seeing anybody in the structure, so I push for it. And as soon as I do that, I see this player running up. He gets some nice shots on me, and you saw that I had taken just enough damage to want to put up, some defensive walls. But just what I was looking for out of those two supply drops was, heals and upgraded explosives. So now I got this gold grenade launcher with 42 grenades. It's going to come in real handy. And I decided to run back over here for the slurp. That guy took a bunch off of me, but now you can see how effective these two supply drops were, and I was able to get a kill out of it. So I'm almost completely back up to full shield and full health, and I have got a killer loadout. Now the new circle is over tilted, so we've got to start pushing into tilted. I just come down the mountain here, just jumping every so often. Jumping is obviously effective to make it harder for people to snipe you, but it's also pretty effective to maybe try and bait some shots to figure out where anybody's at. If you're jumping around and they're feeling confident, they take a shot at you, you can pretty much use that shot to identify where they're at. I saw this big shield on top of the building and decided that I wanted to use it now, go ahead and get full shields, full health for going into the end game here. So I just built around me, put a floor piece above me to turtle myself in, just so nobody could shoot a rocket or a grenade launcher in there. Because I wasn't seeing or hearing anybody, I decided to push, but right when I dropped down, I could hear some footsteps. And I heard footsteps that weren't that guy there, but he made a mistake of just being wide out in the open, and that's a perfect range for a SCAR to just absolutely laser. When I was looting that guy, this guy pushes out of the house, gets a good shot on me. So I'm really weak at this point. The storm's coming in quickly, but I know I have enough time to pop off a couple of minis. And instead of dropping down and building, I just build a little walkway all the way around. I get back up to the high ground and try and figure out how I can attack the guy that just shot me. I don't think at this point that the guy underneath me, the guy that had just shot me, is a really skilled player. The way that he was hiding in that building just really made me think that he's more of a passive player. So I'm thinking that I can be pretty aggressive on him. And to be honest, I'm probably way too exposed here. And as soon as I start bashing that car, I start getting shot from the gray building to the east. So now I've got a player underneath me that I need to be reminded of, and I've got the player in this gray building. I decided to use the grenade launcher to maybe just try and push him out, try and flush him out a little bit. Not really expecting to get a kill off of it because it's so open inside of there. But this is definitely good pressure, and you can see that it keeps him moving, which actually allows me to get an idea of where he's at. He's not shooting back, so again, I think I've got a pretty passive player. Because the storm is to my right, I know that I'm pretty solid here just to stand out and shoot and try to get the kill. You see that I got that all of his shields off, and I got 36 white damage. So I know that he's out of shields. He's probably down into the 50s or the 60s in health. I see my opportunity here to push him because he is weak. He was able to get a couple shields off, but I came down through that little hole in the ceiling and was able to get the kill. I think this is another good example of pushing at the right time. I do not think he expected me to push building to building and then drop down right in front of him. I think it was absolutely unexpected by him. And those are the moments when you want to pounce, when it's going to be unexpected by your enemy. You're going to catch them in a vulnerable spot, whether it's healing or whatever, but you're going to catch them exposed and you're going to be able to get a kill. I spent a few moments in this base just looking around, trying to figure out where the remaining enemies are at before I really decide to make my move to the new circle. I do take a bit of a risk here, just using a walkway. When I do that, I see somebody was peeking this hole. I went ahead and put a floor piece on it, and then I saw that he had built up and has a hole on the other side of the house. But I decided that I wanted to control his ability to escape. I didn't want him to be able to edit anything. Then I built around this piece right here just so nobody else could shoot in on me. And I'm really just trying to control his exit. At this point, I know that he can't really get out of here, so I'm going to use it as an opportunity just to kind of look around. I decided to use the top edge of this building to try and bank some shots back in the building and trying to get some damage on this guy, but I actually end up blowing up everything that I was using to bank, so I decided to look around again, and my mistake here was I left that ramp on the side of the building, and he uses it to come right up on me and get some really nice shotgun shots on me, but I was able to build real quick, always trying to keep something between me and him, something on that east side. I don't know what he was thinking with that ramp, but he totally exposes himself here. I dropped down to loot him, and as soon as I saw that campfire, I knew that's what I needed to get back up to full health. Now, the storm is just on the edge of this building, which is really good for me, but I get that campfire down as soon as I can and then put these two minis on. Looking at the players left, there's only two others. I know the one guy that I was shooting at that was down there by the basketball court, pretty sure he ran over here, so I wanted to use this as an opportunity to use the grenade launcher and try to bust this building down. And when I do that, he puts up this ramp, which really gives his position away. I decided to pull out the AR. I was able to get a shot on him. He's building up, but probably not quite enough. He was able to get some really nice shots on me though, but he stood still, I stood still, and I walked away with the win on that one. So I used my minis to get full up, and I want to go check out his loot, see if he's got any sort of bandages or med kits. So I used my launch pad down here, and sure enough, he's got this campfire. So I basically just grab it and then build up. I don't want to expose myself for too long. I just want to get the loot. And the reason I built so high here is I thought I heard somebody building up as well, but I think I just heard him underneath me. I don't think he was actually building, but in that moment, I didn't want to really take any chances. The storm is closing in super small now, though. This is a position I don't like to be in. I don't like to be this high up when somebody is way underneath me. Like I said, I thought he was building, but he wasn't, so I'm almost positive that he's all the way on the ground floor. Now, the campfire's about to run out, so I'm going to wait a second here, try to get as much health off of it as I can, and then I need to bust out my floor to get down just a little bit lower. Right about the time I do that, I heard him pick up and trade out some weapons, so I knew he was all the way on the ground floor. Decided to pull out my sniper for the guaranteed victory, and I was able to get it. Personally, I think this is one of the best games that I've played, not in terms of kill count or anything, but just in the way that I played the game. I was aggressive when I needed to be, I built well, I transitioned between storms well, I got the high ground when I needed to, I disengaged when I needed to. So I think overall it's just one of my better played games. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I know this is a long one. It's the first time I've really walked you through a full game. If you liked it, I would love to know down below. If you didn't, I would also like to know. Let me know what I could do differently to help you guys get the most out of my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.